we're here again at step 2, which is letting go and releasing. And you can release being a victim at any point of time once you decide. But you have to become aware of what's happening in your life right now. And do you want to continue feeling like that? Those are the just simple questions that you have to ask yourself. And you have to be honest with yourself. You don't have to put yourself down. All you need is more love and compassion at this moment, but at the same time, you can choose to let go. That will open doors for you.
You could have given up, but you didn't. You could have stopped believing, but you didn't. You could have kept living their expectations, but you decided to make this life your own. And in turn, you're here.
Hello, everyone. Today, I'm gonna record a solo episode that I believe will help a lot of us to really become clear on the importance of creating the space or detaching ourselves from the content of experience on a daily basis. And that practice actually will create a new understanding, a new perception of what you call reality that eventually will lead you to that space of feeling at peace, feeling happy. So let's just start talking about it right away because it's something very crucial and essential for us to embody, for us to live it, for us to really knowing that it's something that is of priority. What I'm talking about here is your way of focusing, your way of looking at your everyday activities from a different point of view, from a different perspective. So if you can try to understand and listen closely, I know it's a hard concept to grasp, but the more I'm trying to break it down to steps, the more you can try taking those steps and really seeing for yourself that this is how you start feeling within your body. And I'm only talking about it because this is something that I experience myself. And I know it is something that you can experience. And I'm gonna try my best to make it as simple as possible. And I still know there are more questions that could be raised within you after listening to this. But again, step by step, can really understand the concept without you trying to see for yourself and experience that. So let's start from the beginning. We all play different roles in this reality as we see it. And by the way, it's different from different point of view. The way you see things real is not the way I see things. So if you try to convince somebody in your truth, it is something that feels real and true for you, and you're gonna defend it. You're gonna be very argumentative in certain topics that really touch you on in one way or another, but it's you really attaching yourself or identifying yourself with the role that you're playing right now in this present moment of time, right? So you could be a mom, a teacher, or a lawyer, or doctor, you name it. Any roles that we play in a society. We tend to really attach our identity to feel that this is who we are. This is who I am. This is my religion. This is my race. This is where I live. This is my gender. Everything that comes with your identification also comes with a certain, I would say, standards or aspects of the society that you live in. And depending on what interests you or what triggers you, it is something that is created within your energy field that really shows you that you have a certain attachment. You know, if something really feels intense, something that you feel you need to defend, that means you have a strong attachment to a certain thing, a certain role that you play, a certain person that you're with, you name it, right? So, and it's not really your natural state of being, because this is how you know, right? It shouldn't feel that, it shouldn't feel that strongly uncomfortable or unpleasant to feel a certain way while you engage in interaction with people, or you try to make sure people understand your truth. And how come that they see it differently? This is the truth that I'm living. They should feel it the same way. But it's not. This is the way you see it. This is the way you feel it. This is the way you attached. And they are just a reflection, like a mirror for you to understand that you are still attached to those things. They are just showing you, they are just really reflecting into your being that you should become aware that it's still in your field, it's still active, you're still being triggered by that. Whatever that is, a person, a thing, a place, it's a form that it manifested in, right? And it shows you that you have that attachment. So, and it will gonna continue showing you in one scenario or another, in one situation or another, with one person or another. It will come up to the surface into your face to really confront you with an understanding that you have an attachment. You identified yourself with that role that you're playing as if it's so true, it's so real for you. And why is that? So then you have to really raise a question and ask yourself, why am I being triggered so much? Why it feels so intense for me? And why people don't understand my truth? And that is the beginning of self inquiry. That is the beginning of really becoming aware that perhaps that thing, that person, that place, it's not to blame, but to really pay attention that I am attached. I identified myself with that. So once we have that awareness, the next step would be to let go. And that's very hard for a lot of people to let go of something that they believe is part of their identity. And it's very hard to see yourself from a different perspective, from a different lens of understanding. And as you engage in that second step, as you become aware and ready to let go and ready to release that attachment, that's when you're gonna see for yourself, you're gonna feel within your being how different you can be in that reality, how different you can understand the way you are interacting with people, the way you engage in certain activities. Your energy will shift. Your feeling of your being will unravel the true way of being in this world, really. I'm just trying to really put the definition to it, but it's hard to explain unless you experience it. So once you start to understand and become aware of your attachments, once you're ready to let go of those attachments, and I'm also talking about addictions. Addictions is another part of attachment that a lot of people engage in. Could be substances, could be activities like binge TV or sexual activities, or perhaps really distracting yourself with a different way that we have right now. And not judging you, but I'm just trying to shed light to really illuminate the issue that will arise one way or another. And it's your choice to really face it. It's your choice to look at it and start running from it, start distracting yourself with those activities, but to really sit with it, feel it, and embrace the way you've been dealing so far, the way you are being attached to those different places, things, people, and start seeing yourself from the point of view of being more than just a role that you play. Okay? Not devaluing or disregarding that your role is not important. It is, but you have to be really flexible, really fluid, really detached in your perception of playing that role. And once you start feeling that, right, it would be easier for you with that created space that you have between our person and being an observer of engaging in those different activities, being somebody who is not a form but a formless, right? Something that is within you or encompasses your form as a person, but more than that. So if you create that space and start looking at everything that you do on a daily basis from that perspective, bigger perspective, higher perspective, then you realize that all of that struggling, all of that suffering, all of that pain that you experience only because you have those certain attachments, certain addictions in your life, something that triggers you, and that is because you being identified with a role that you play in, with being just a person, which is not who you are. Okay? And I know it takes different time for different people to come to that realization. But as you do, then, like I said, the next step would be to let go. And after you start feeling that release and letting go of those attachments that I just mentioned, then then you start feeling within yourself a different way of engaging in the society, a different way of perceiving this reality that is true for you. And you will feel this sense of peace, a sense of joy, a sense of happiness, love, compassion. You no longer will tolerate the state of being that you engaged in. And by the way, it's always your choice. So you have to start taking responsibility because this is how powerful you are. It's always your choice. And if you're still in a place where you blame somebody for where you're at, where you feel really that the situation you're in is somebody's fault, but at the same time you justify staying there, you're still in a place of self-victimization. You see yourself as a victim. And again, you choose to do that. It's the same as choosing not to be a victim. So at some point, maybe it's helping you in some kind of way. But once you start realizing you don't have to hold on to that way of being, you can release that. And we're here again at step 2, which is letting go and releasing. And you can release being a victim at any point of time once you decide. But you have to become aware of what's happening in your life right now. Look around. What is it that you have? What is it that brings you certain types of feeling? And do you want to continue feeling like that? Those are the just simple questions that you have to ask yourself. And you have to be honest with yourself, not to judge, but really show yourself love and compassion and embrace who you are with everything that you've been through, with everything that you are still experiencing. You don't have to put yourself down. All you need is more love and compassion at this moment, but at the same time, you can choose to let go. And that will open doors for you. I'm telling you, it's a different level of being, and you only can experience that once you realize, once you start feeling it, once you release all of that. You can do it on your own. You can do it with a certain, with the help of practitioners that live in it. People who are embodying that energy, that way of being, they already know. They can show you the way. They can help you. They can be a mirror to you, showing you your blind spot where you don't see. For some reason, you've been caught up in that loop. You don't see. But once you illuminate those dark corners, once you release, that's when it happens. That's when the shift happens. That's when you start seeing new possibilities and opportunities come in your life. And the way that you're gonna feel is going to shift. It's just the way it works. And like I said, it could take for some person maybe, I don't know, like a year, for another person a month. You don't know, but you have to be ready. You have to be willing to change. Change is what difficult for people to really be committed to. It's not just you saying, all right, of course I want to change. Of course I want to feel more abundant. Of course I want to feel more happy. Like, what is something else that I want? Everybody wants that. But not everybody is willing to do the work. Not everybody is willing to change and be committed every single day to do certain practices to embody that change, to live it. So that's what I'm saying. It's your desire, your commitment, your persistence, your knowing that it's gonna happen. It happened for others. I see it's real. I see it's possible. And I'm ready. Whatever it takes, my health, my well being is a priority for me. And that's what I'm gonna commit myself to no matter what. I know I can do it. Your confidence Your commitment, your conviction is important. That's mostly the main topics that I wanted to cover today. Of course, there are more to talk about, but this is like the essence of change. This is like the main aspects that we have to be aware of, that we have to focus on, that we have to really pay attention to and bring in our life and start living it. Everybody has a right to feel happy, to feel joyful, to feel peaceful, to live in abundance, to do whatever they want to do, to pursue their passion. But how can they, if they still stuck in that pattern, in that loop, where they are not aware that they so attached to that identity that creates suffering and struggle in their life? That's where it comes from. And it's your choice. Like I said, nobody's to blame. It's you. And you should ask yourself a question: why am I still choosing to continue going this path? Why? Only you can answer it. Usually, people see the alternative being worse, in a sense, that staying in that comfort zone. I know it might seem illogical, but that's what they choose. And again, it's all connected to your subconscious beliefs of why do you think it's gonna be worse to change. But to you really see for yourself and let that go, you have to address that attachment, that addiction, and be ready to face it. Be brave enough, courageous enough to face it, to see it for what it is. It's more scary in your mind because of the unknown. You don't know what to expect. But once you start seeing it for what it is, you can easily let that go. Are you ready? And that's something you should really focus on, to understand, to ask for help if you need to. For those who would like to embrace a more deeper understanding and work, they could connect with me. I'm gonna drop here my link to connect for discovery call if you wish to. But it's in the end of the day is your choice, is your commitment to yourself, is your prioritizing yourself today. What can you do for yourself to bring yourself to that level where you can have it all, everything that you wanted, and you do deserve it. Every one of us deserve that, and we have that power. And we should start giving our power away, and we should start really embracing that and stepping into our full potential so we can serve other people. And that's the best that we can do in that society that we live in right now. So glad we have that conversation, and I'm glad that I have the opportunity to deliver that message to you. And again, love you all. For those who would like to connect, let's have that discovery call. And I hope you enjoy your day. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you did, hit the subscribe button and share it with others. Stay tuned.